Steven, tonight's a night for history, but you know what else it is for?
I don't know.
He doesn't want to play
The Bucket Hat Boys are back. Let's go.
Hey, happy Monday night. Welcome into the PHNX Suns pregame show. Of course, brought to you by Gila River Resorts and Casinos. You do you at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. Visit playatgila.com for more details. It's me, Eric, Gerald, fresh off a flight, bucket hat boy. History is made tonight. And Espo confirmed not fat, not washed. Steven to my right. And of course, Noah behind the Mac, making all of the magic happen. Thank you to Wiz Khalifa, Meatloaf, Devin, everybody in the chat, Kev, Ao, Joe, Lonnie. Thank you all for being here on a Monday night. We appreciate you hitting that like because we are poised to hopefully watch some history. But before we get there, Gerald, there's other history, and Espo, I guess we got to talk about this too. Luka Doncic got traded to the Lakers, guys, and you were not here to talk about it. So thoughts?
It is the most shocking trade in NBA history, and it might very well go down as the worst trade in NBA history. That is a horrendous deal. I am not buying into the collusion aspect of it in terms of Nico Harrison having a relationship with Rob Pelinka. I'm not a conspiracy theorist at all, but like that is some boneheaded decision making. And it's the type that makes you just kind of scratch your head and wonder why the Lakers of all teams continually to be gifted things like this. Like they fell ass backwards into LeBron James. Same thing with Anthony Davis. But at least in those situations, you could be like, okay, those guys wanted to go there because it's LA. They got nice weather. They're the Lakers. In this case, it was a GM that just wanted to have conversation with one team and sent a top 3 player there in the middle of his prime for a guy who's 6-7 years older and is more injury prone. I don't care if he's fat. He's still one of the 3 best players in the NBA. The subterfuge and the kind of fat shaming that they've done afterwards has been disgraceful. I actually feel bad for Mavs fans, and I know a lot of Suns fans will say screw them, and that's fine. That's your prerogative. But like, this was a big wake-up call for me, especially coming into tonight where Devin Booker is set to make history for this franchise, of how nothing is guaranteed and how even though we're here to witness this team finally win a championship, we also have to appreciate the milestones along the way because you never know when something can just be snatched away from you and one of your favorite all-time players is a freaking Los Angeles Laker.
Yeah, I'd usually say screw them, but unfortunately they traded him to the Lakers, and I feel bad for Mavs fans for having to suffer through that as well. Look, we're not on TV, so I'm just going to say, what the fuck did the Mavs do?
No idea.
Like, to me, it is insane that that's what they did. And then what the reasoning for it is because Nico Harrison has a problem with fat people. Is that what I gathered? Like, there's that video of him taking that beer out of Luka's hands. There's that.
Yep.
Now it's him.
Shout out Mike Finley.
Yeah,
Suns legend Mike Finley.
Now it's him, saying all this stuff through back channels. I mean, let me just say this, because they said Luka was like pushing 275.
Mm-hmm.
Luka and I are in the same bracket then, right? And I'm going to say this. He was playing at an MVP level. It wasn't like you were getting Espo out there on the court. So shut the hell up, Nico. You did this because you're not very intelligent is what I'm gathering. And then, you know what? The best thing to do when you're going to trade your best player? Limit the market to one team and call them about a guy that can never stay healthy. You know this happened 17 years to the day that the Lakers got Powell.
Yep.
It was like Nico said, hey, I remember that deal. Hold my beer. I'm going to go beat it. There's one thing I like about this and one thing only.
What's that?
It's that the Phoenix Suns now only have the second worst move, including Deandre Ayton and Luka Doncic there. You know, like, I'm sorry. Just bad overall from the Mavs. And the fact that they brought a casket and set it out in front of the Mavs arena was so spot on. Like, if the Suns surprisingly blow this up and deal Kevin Durant and Devin Booker tomorrow, or before Thursday, you better believe that stuff like that's going to be going on at the Footprint Center. I feel for those Mavs fans. I do not feel for that Mavs front office. And I love the fact that Jason Kidd looked like a hostage in that press conference.
Shit, man, that was crazy.
He couldn't be any more disinterested in Nico's antics, the lack of collective inclusion, and all of the rather important decision making that they decided to go with. Like that feels like all type of depths of malpractice and collusion and any other adjective that's not conducive to winning that you want to attach to it.
And the best part is there are now reports coming out that the Lakers initially were being asked for more first-round picks and Dalton Connect. And then Nico was like, Pelinka was like, you know what, Nico, you're right.
Yeah.
He is fat.
He's risky.
He is out of shape. God. Well, maybe a couple less first-round picks in our first-round pick from this past year.
Well,
It's
supposedly the reason they didn't have to give up another first-round pick was because the Mavs wouldn't let the Lakers contact Luka about whether he'd resign or not. So I'm like, way to cut yourself off at the knees at every possible way. It's insane how the Mavs did that. And what a crappy 24 hours as a Suns fan, because the Lakers and the Spurs get better in that time period while you're sitting on your hands waiting for something to happen. I felt like Beyonce at the Grammys with that look. Every time Sham's alert goes off, I'm like, is it the Suns? No? Okay.
I also love Danny Ainge not being aware that he was being looped into something
crazy.
of that magnitude until 30 minutes, which is not enough time to redo anything.
How does that work?
How does Danny Ainge of all people?
Hey, will
Unaware.
will you take this guy? We'll give you 2 second-round picks. Don't ask any
I
questions.
mean, to be fair, if there's anybody to approach and say, hey, we'll give you just draft picks, don't ask any questions, it is Danny Ainge.
Danny Ainge and Sam Presti. They're
Well,
like, yeah, sure.
There are naturally now questions about Kevin Durant. We do have a super chat that I want to get to because, Gerald, I know you have some reporting on this to share. But Teddy with a $9.99 super chat. We always appreciate your super chats. Teddy says, Beal, a.k.a. the Bartlesteins, screwed this team. Now KD is going to be traded.
Yeah, so I'm not 100% sure on that one, guys. Based on what I've been told by a source, like the Suns are definitely getting offers. They're hearing what the other team has to say, but they are not trying to trade Devin Booker and Kevin Durant. This was yesterday. I was traveling today, so haven't followed up on that. But Gambo did come out and say the same thing today, that's what he was hearing. Brett Siegel over at Clutch Points said the exact same thing. The Warriors are calling everybody right now. If you look at the reporting and type in Warriors on Twitter, they want LaMelo Ball. They want Kevin Durant. They want Paul George. They want Zion Williamson. They want everybody right now. They want Giannis. Like, the Warriors are trying desperately to make Steph happy and pair a star with him. It doesn't mean there's any legs to it. It doesn't mean the Suns are going to blow it up. From what I've been told, the Suns are still very much trying to get Jimmy Butler. That is their focus, building around Booker and KD. If they don't, they'll probably pivot into making some moves to enhance the team for the short term and the long term. What that looks like, I don't know. Things can change quickly. I'm not saying it's entirely impossible, but as of right now, the Suns are not trying to trade Devin Booker or Kevin Durant.
The Warriors sound so desperate. After they came out and said, hey, we're not going to, we don't need to make a move. We're good. We're looking at the future. And now it's like, we will call anybody that has anything and we will beg you to go out with us right now. Like, please, even if it's just short term, because now the whole, Butler said he wouldn't sign there. And they're like, that might be okay. We're that desperate right now. Like,
I imagine Jimmy probably said he wouldn't sign an extension with Golden State. And they probably told Steph that Jimmy said he's not going to sign that, so we're not going to do that trade. And Steph probably pressed the leverage button and said, okay, well, if we just stand pat, then I'm out. And I'm sure that promptly got their front office to making a call about any and every All-Star, available or not, just to appease that part of it. I mean, you
say,
can't.
hey, we can send you to Charlotte. That's all right.
Yeah, I don't think the Warriors are doing that, but no, because especially after what they're witnessing with the Mavs fan base completely turning on their franchise. But I do think there is something to the fact that if you're the Warriors and you're trying to gain any sort of leverage, the one kind of superstar that you're looking around who might feel some type of way about hearing his name be involved would be Kevin Durant. So it makes sense to kind of leak things like that if we're buying into the whole it's subterfuge and maybe it's just leverage season.
Sean with an important question. The chat says, how was Minnesota, Gerald?
Minnesota was great. It was very cold. It was about 50 degrees colder there than it was here, so that was rough. But it was good. It's good to be back, though, especially since I was on the road for the worst trade in NBA history.
Well, you're back home for what could be one of the biggest games
Yes.
in this franchise's history. Unfortunately, it's on the road, but Devin Booker, if you didn't know already, 23 points away from becoming the Phoenix Suns' all-time leading scorer. We knew that this was going to happen this season, but I think in light of what we just talked about, it's got a certain special weight to it that maybe wasn't there before.
Well, yeah. I mean, Luka was 300 points away from becoming the Mavs' all-time leading scorer, surpassing one Michael Finley, who happens to be the assistant GM. So
You mean number two?
or number two.
'Cause
excuse
Dirk
me.
is-
Excuse me,
Dirk
number
is
two.
one, yeah.
You're right. Number two surpassing Finley, I believe. But I think that's just hilarious to me. But yeah, I mean, you got to enjoy guys while they're on your team. And that's the lesson learned. It's one we know being sports fans, and we've had the privilege of watching every single point Devin Booker has scored in a Suns uniform. And the guy that he's going to pass likely tonight is Walter Davis, who not too long after he broke the record wound up in Denver for much different reasons, but wound up in Denver. So you got to enjoy this while it's in front of you and appreciate a night like tonight, likely.
Special moment. I just hope it comes in a win.
Yeah.
It's going to be very sour if he gets the record and they lose again to the Portland Trailblazers for the second time in 3 days.
Well, it's good insurance of being on the road, right?
Yeah.
Because you get a little time to breathe after that.
Beggars can't be choosers, Stephen. We can take history or we can take a win.
Maybe we
I
can
want
get
both.
both.
I would
think we
like
can definitely
both.
get both.
I'm not going to be greedy.
I would like both, but to your point, I do think there is something to the fact that like this is a journey that's been 10 years in the making. Like it's kind of crazy because I started on this beat full time the same year that, or right before they drafted Devin Booker, and so being able to watch him for the last decade has been a really fun thing for me as a journalist. I'm sure it has been for the fans, just the way that they've connected with him. And you could sense that just talking to his teammates, his coach, that they're all, even the ones that have just been here for a year or for a couple of years, a couple of months, they all understand what Booker means to the organization, the fan base, the city itself. I wrote about it over at gophnx.com. Espo wrote a column as well. Eric did a video essay. We've got all kinds of nostalgic Devin Booker content on YouTube and at gophnx.com if you're interested tonight. But it is a special moment, regardless of the outcome tonight. You definitely want to win, especially since you lost to this very bad but recently good Blazers team. But this is something special, and it should not be lost on any Suns fan, especially after what we saw with the Luka trade.
I got to let you know that you scared like
I
a
know.
third of our Twitter
I know.
followers thinking we traded Devin Booker with your piece.
timing
Your
of
thank
it
you,
was
Devin
tough.
Booker.
Oh no, what'd you say?
Well, all I said in the tweet was, "Dear at Devin Booker, thank you for not only embracing the franchise but becoming it."
Oh, okay. So they thought it was
And
like
they thought it was like, well, because
They
again,
panicked.
after Luka and Fox and everything that's been going on,
Uh-huh.
I guess you see something like that and you assume worst case. And I get it. And if you want some more of my thoughts from that, I would highly encourage you to check that out. We have it up on our PHNX Sports YouTube page and of course over on at @PHNX_Suns. But I was in high school when Devin Booker got drafted. I went through college. I met my wife. I got married. I got into this industry, and I got my way to cover this team all while Devin Booker has been in the NBA. And so I look back and I'm like, man, I've lived an entire life with this dude being on this team. And the craziest part about it, Steven, is he's only 28 years old. This isn't some dude who spent 15 years in the NBA, is in his mid-30s, and is, he's limping to the end. He's basically just now entering what most people consider to be the prime years of an NBA superstar.
And all that time, he's been a bucket, capital B. And he's been continuing to evolve within that, which is why he's so rapidly ascended those ranks of the Suns lineage that preceded him. Just a great scorer of the basketball, can do so in a variety of ways, does so with a unique disposition about him that makes him unique from other scorers across the entire league. Blends the evolution of three-point shooting and different styles of scoring with nostalgia to the extent of getting the attention of people like the late, great Kobe Bryant, and also garnering the respect of players, living legends like Kevin Durant, Chris Paul. So speaking of who he is, he's different. He's legendary, and this is just another bookmark moment in the career that's still far from done.
Yeah, I went back and looked at some of the content from when he joined the team while I was there. I was half a Luka lighter. And it's amazing. You look at him and it felt like he was so mature and all these things when he came in, and you realize he was an 18-year-old kid, right? And yet he still came in, and despite not getting time for most of the first half of that first season, once he came in and got that starting nod, he hasn't given it back at any point. He's been all in, has done everything he can for this franchise, and has gone out there and been a prolific scorer since pretty much that first opportunity to get out there and be a member of this team in a starting capacity. It's impressive what he's done. Hopefully there is a lot more to be written for him, but it's been an impressive first 10 years.
Yeah, it's rare that you get that type of player that takes the mantle from such a young age and stays with that same team and carries it throughout and carries himself with poise. You know, Devin Booker is not perfect on the court, off the court, but he has always done right by the community here. He's been a part of it, not just with his charities, but, you know, even the simple things like tweeting, you know, after the Super Bowl weekend, like, this was nice, but can y'all get out of my city? I like it better quiet. Like, he is a Phoenician now, even though he was born somewhere else. He is one of us. And so it's been a pleasure watching him play basketball. It's been awesome to see him be so mature and be the face of the franchise since he was a teenager. And like Espo said, hopefully there's more for him to come. And hopefully he does cement himself as the greatest Sun of all time by bringing Phoenix the one thing that it has not gotten in the NBA yet.
And to the KD fans in the chat, yes, we realize he's 53 points away from 30,000, and we will give him his due in probably Wednesday's pregame show as he goes for that milestone. But tonight, with 23 points away, it's Devin Booker's evening to shine.
And for them to want to be so short-sighted, the nostalgia of Kevin Durant being able to do that against the franchise, potentially at least against the franchise that drafted him.
Yeah.
Would you rather him have to share that spotlight with Devin Booker, the team's franchise player, or have his own spotlight against the team that he basically grew up into becoming a man in?
On national television.
On national television on top of that. Just saying.
A lot of good stuff going on, but also you got to get a win. Of course, like you guys mentioned, the Suns did lose to the Trailblazers 2 nights ago, and it was overshadowed from the Luka trade, but then now they have another opportunity tonight to beat an under 500 Portland team, but one that's been playing really great as of late. Gerald, what did you see that went wrong for the Suns 2 nights ago?
I didn't watch any of the game, Eric, so I'll be 100%
Then never mind.
honest.
Espo, what did you think went wrong for the Suns 2 nights ago?
Everything. I mean, it was not. Look, your stars did what they could, but you didn't get production elsewhere. You got a great performance by Portland. I mean, they've been hot, so you got to give them some credit. But, man, this team has got to find that heart and that hustle and find it quick, because if you lose back-to-back to Portland going into the trade deadline, you might have to consider a little bit of everything at that point.
They need to win tonight. I said it on our post-game show that this is about as close to a must-win for me as you could possibly get it in the regular season, especially considering, like, yeah, Portland's a good team, but there are elements of it, of the Deandre Ayton, the Toumani Camara of it all, who helped power Portland to that win. The fact that you are now battling against a Mavs team that in the short term might be a little bit better, right? A little bit healthier right now, even though AD is still off the court. You know, in contention around that same spot. Maybe the Lakers are going to fall because they don't have a center right now. Like, every single win matters so much. And if you can't take care of business against a Portland team that you just played 2 nights ago, that just out-efforted you, which has been a theme with this team, the next time that you play, then at that point, I'm like, all right, as much as I can be a homer and every time they win, I can get really excited. Like, even at that point, it's drawing a little thin for me.
Yeah, it feels like every time they take a step forward, they take half a step back, or a full step back, or a step and a half back. Like,
and then they turn the ball over too.
Yeah, like, you look at how they've been stringing together wins over the last couple of weeks, but the level of competition has to be a factor in that. And it feels like every time they come up against the tests, like the Timberwolves, like the Cavs, like a Blazers team that's been playing pretty well over the last couple of weeks, it feels like they haven't been able to rise to that occasion. I would like to see them start stringing together some wins against quality opponents, teams that are hot over the last week or so. And they're going to have their hands full because after Portland, it's OKC. Then you got Utah, Denver, Memphis, Houston, San Antonio. So the gauntlet begins. I think the Suns have the toughest remaining schedule. Getting a win tonight would put you in better position to be able to handle this gauntlet that you're going to be up against.
Yeah, getting a win and then adding somebody at the deadline. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's
talk
go.
about them needing to get it going against good level competition. I mean, Portland's got the third best record over the last 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
They have a top 5 offense and a top 5 defense. So as far as when you're going up against an opponent, this is very much a measuring stick type of game. Measuring stick as far as you not playing up or down to the level of your competition, but also in timing, going up against one of the hottest teams in the league that also just beat you, that you should be making adjustments to not have those same issues that you saw that ultimately caused you to lose that game 2 nights ago to happen again tonight. So it's very much a measuring stick type of game for me.
And we got a pretty nice injury report to look at, don't we, Gerald?
Yes, we do. On the Suns side of things, it is relatively clean. They got Ty Washington and Jalen Bridges out on the 2-way contracts, but no one in the main rotation out with an injury. Duop Reith is out for the Blazers. Robert Williams was questionable coming in. He's available. The Blazers are also missing Matisse Thybulle, and then a couple of 2-way guys on the roster questionable for Portland. So a Robert Williams tryout game, huh? That's exciting.
Yeah, let's get him in purple and
I'm
orange.
hyped for it.
Do up Reith the tryout.
It's multiple tryouts.
Looking at them longingly from the other bench. Yeah.
Come to the tryout.
Well, let's see what we have. Predictions as far as tonight goes. Who wins and by how much? Espo is not going with his classic Suns by 1, Suns by shrug. I'm the most confident. Suns by 5. Steven Suns by 4. Gerald Suns by 2. Espo, you really just don't know, or you just didn't want to give a score prediction?
I don't know.
What emoji is that?
I mean,
shrug,
I'm not sure. It was supposed to be the shrug, but
okay.
Noah did whatever he did there. But honestly, I don't know with this team. I don't. I'd love to tell you they're going to win by 20 tonight because they want to come out. Devin Booker is going to play out of his mind. Kevin Durant is motivated because of rumors, and they destroy him. But we've seen this team just backslide on a constant basis. I don't know. I really have no idea.
I don't either, to be honest with you. I just gave a close prediction, Suns by 2, because I think with them not being on the second night of back-to-back, I'm hoping to see a better effort tonight, especially when a team beats you. It's hard to beat the same team twice in a short span like that. But we'll see. I genuinely don't know what to expect from this group.
I've been going Suns by 1, but figured I'm not even that
just
confident.
Lean
right
into
now.
the gimmick.
Yeah.
For me, it's a riddle for me because it wasn't even like heavy legs or for even a worse situation being like behind schedule conditioning wise, having played the second night of a row back-to-back. It was organization. Offensively, they were slow getting the sets once Portland started pressing them. The spacing was not good. Outside of for Devin Booker kind of pulling rabbits out of a hat with his tough shot making ability.
Mm-hmm.
And then defensively, behind schedule time after time after time in pick and roll, this team still struggles to cover rollers. The Blazers are adding Robert Williams, one of the most efficient, effective, and honestly dominant rollers with the ways in which he can go and get it like Randy Moss back in the late 90s and early 2000s above the box.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't solve this problem and you're consistently taking the ball out of the net and they're playing with the set defense and they're able to press you the way that they did in the second half, I mean, we're going to see a similar game, at least it being close in the fourth quarter, in a game where they should be up double digits going into the fourth quarter.
Let's see what our friends over at Bet365 have the line for tonight. They have the Suns at a -200 on the money line, -5 on the spread. Trailblazers +165 on the money line, +5 on the spread, despite, of course, winning last game. And that game without Robert Williams. So let's take a look at our pregame picks. Of course, also brought to you by our friends over at Bet365. Download the Bet365 app. Use code PHNX365 when you sign up and find out why, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. You must be 21 plus and physically located in AZ. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP. Text NEXT STEP to 53342 or visit problemgambling.az.gov. Let's take a very quick look at our standings because we haven't checked in a little bit. We are all in the negative. One of us barely, that is me, at a -1 in first place. Steven, -25 in second place. And Espo, -283.47.
This
Holy
is sadder than a Mavericks fan meetup right now.
This is the vibes of the Mavericks fan base right here in a screenshot.
Oh my
I
God.
leave and you guys get in the negatives. What happened?
Why is Eric's box looks bigger too? Like we should be celebrating that -1.
Well, I'm hitting tonight,
Woo!
baby. And let me show you what I'm hitting tonight. Let's go.
Hey now,
Hey, I got this boosted.
Raising.
Got this boosted. Thanks to our friends over at Bet365. I have Devin Booker to break the Phoenix Suns all-time scoring record at 25-plus points. Nick Richards to go over 9.5 rebounds, and Grayson Allen over 5.5 rebounds and assists. That coming out to a very strange +618. Espo, what are you putting your money on tonight?
I'm going with an all Devin Booker same game parlay. Devin Booker 10+ first quarter points. Devin Booker 25+ points overall. Devin Booker under 3.5 turnovers, and Devin Booker 0.5+ blocks in a game at a +3,000. We're gonna hit tonight, baby. We're gonna be in #1 first place.
What was that voice that came
I
out
don't
at the end?
know. I misspoke and then I just leaned into whatever I was doing. So
I didn't hate it, but
Steven, how are you getting back in the positive?
Just being cool, calm, and collected.
As
Whether
always.
whether my bet hits or not, just being still.
Mhm.
I got Devin Booker, obviously with tonight's relevant history looming, over 34.5. That bet hit. In their most recent game, I think he does that again tonight. I think he's going to come out and set a tone, putting the ball in the basket. Nick Richards, over 2.5 points in the first quarter. He did not have a good showing last night. I think they'll be intentional about looking to get the paint as a piece of their kind of process on offense. So I think he does that in the first quarter with relative ease. And then the last one, Deandre Ayton, is not getting a double-double, which is what my bet was. I have Deandre Ayton not
getting a double-double.
okay, you're
Yes.
never gonna have some problems if
Mhm.
if it was the way it appeared there. So
Well, that's going to do it for the PHNX Suns pregame show. Well, nice little PSA for everybody in the chat who's new around here. This is not a place to talk about women in any disrespectful way, even if you think that it's a joke. No matter whose wife it is, if it's not somebody's wife, it's a random person who's in the chat, it doesn't matter. We're not the place to be for that. If you want to do that and you don't want to be around a show who doesn't like that, kindly go somewhere else because this is not the place for it. So I'm not apologizing for it, not backtracking on it. You speak ill about women in that way, you're gone. That's it.
But
So
I'll also add to that, too. We also not making racist jokes about ICE
Facts.
or whatever other topic you might want to speak on. So I can take that elsewhere, but it's not going to fly in here. Last warning for that, a couple people already got the boot. Anybody else can get it, too.
yeah, and this is a place to talk about basketball. If you don't want to talk about basketball, you can make jokes. You can do whatever you want about basketball. That's fine. This is not the place for anything else, and it won't be, even when we come back for our post-game show, because everybody deserves to be comfortable when we talk about sports. That's it. Anything else to add to that, guys?
nope.
man,
that's it.
we all suck. No,
Yeah,
I'm
we
just
do all
kidding.
suck. And if you don't like us, there's the door. You cannot come back for a post-game show, which I know a ton of you will be just a couple of minutes after the final buzzer, hopefully celebrating Devin Booker breaking the Phoenix Suns all-time scoring record and hopefully celebrating a much-needed win as well. You can follow the show at PHNX_Suns. You can follow me at ERIKRUBY. You can follow Steven at StevenPG3, Espo at Espo, Gerald at Gerald Bourget, and you can't follow Noah because you just can't find him. We'll see you post-game.
We all silly like the mayor.